CSA Group is an international organization, started up 90 years ago. We do a number of things. The first thing we do is we write standards. We write consensus-based standards, which are important to industry. And by that I mean we bring in industry, we bring in government, we bring in consumers, and write standards that are important to society. They can be on products that people use, products like medical products, consumer products like safety helmets, those kinds of things. We're also more recently writing standards about sustainability. Those can be around solar panels, can be around wind, electric vehicles. And once those standards are written, they're published. Sometimes they can be legislated into law, where they're required to be followed by industry. But many times they're voluntary, so industry will generally follow them. The other part of our business is once those standards are written, we then test and certify those products and services to ensure that those standards are being... Standards are valuable to society for a number of reasons. First, they set ground rules, so that you can get a common set of ground rules that industry can follow. Once a standard is set, industry benefits because it creates more of an innovative environment, so companies will innovate new products and services. Consumers benefit because their safety concerns are addressed. And I think sustainability is a big area today because everybody's worried about climate change. And everybody wants to reduce the carbon footprint. Companies want to do it not only for economics, but because it gives them credibility with consumers. And the standards that we are working on today span a whole array of areas. Solar is an example, wind, electrical vehicles, fuel cells, nanotechnology, which is coming down the pike. So these are really important emerging areas for all of society. And we have started a set of training programs that we're launching here today with the Hong Kong Productivity Council, where we're training people to look at how they might measure their current carbon footprint, how they might reduce their carbon footprint in the future, and also verification standards. So those are areas that are really important. These are ISO standards, which means that they have credibility and they're international in scope, and everyone can follow the same ground. I think the reality is that government has had to play a role to kickstart the use of these alternative energy tools that are available. For example, if you look at solar, it has been widely subsidized by European governments. It's now being subsidized here in Asia and even in North America. And I think it's important to kickstart some of these technologies because in the early days, they tend to be not very cost effective, and you need that initiative to get the products off the ground so that economies of scale will come in due course. I think consumers can benefit by recognizing that organizations that have actually done greenhouse work through professionals, they can have much greater confidence that the work was done by a credible organization and that they had followed ISO standards. So I think consumers can be assured that there's no false declaration of greenhouse accounting by ensuring that the companies are using these standards. Well, greenhouse gas is a big issue because it's warming the planet, as we all know. So reducing that footprint is paramount to preserving our life for the long run. Moreover, I think in the short run, it can also reduce costs for companies by reducing consumption of energy. So that's a benefit. I think consumers are demanding that the products today are environmentally friendly. So I think if you want to be in business and want to compete, I think companies really have to reduce it. Well, a good place for businesses to start is to measure their inventory, first of all. So let's take an example. If you have a building, an office building, you want to know what kind of carbon footprint you're producing. So what kind of energy are you using? What kind of lighting are you using? How are your employees traveling to work? Are they traveling long distances? So once you get a feel for how much CO2 you're emitting, then you're in a better position to figure out how you're going to reduce it. So you can say, all right, we have regular lighting, we're going to replace it with LED lighting, as an example. We're going to provide public transportation for employees. So I think once you have an inventory, then you can put in place different projects to help find a way to reduce it. And then to have credibility, you need a third party to verify the work that you've done.